Hello, Eternum, and welcome to KOTT News, Eternum's #1 source for news. And this is the War Report. Dynamic change in the history of Eternum last night as the forces of Commit reclaim the master fishing and shrimping delta of Reekwater. KOTT News caught up with the swamp people in Farharbor and got their reactions to the victory. Hey, congratulations on your victory here in Reekwater, once again retaining the swamp in the name of the Syndicate. You were able to get into fort phase with about 24 minutes left, and at about 19 started the big first push. A skirmish inside for a good, 5 minutes? Got the point to about 75%. My cameraman died, and then suddenly you won. Would you care to take us through any pivotal moments you had out there?
Honestly, the whole war, it felt like we had a good amount of control. They got one good wipe inside. Absolutely did fantastic pushing us out as well. Second push, though, they couldn't get us completely wiped, and just the army took it. Absolute army behavior from the entire group.
Indeed. Was there anybody in your team whose performance outshined themselves tonight?
Obviously, Whirlwhip always outshines himself, but besides that, the entire army just absolutely showed up today. Had a couple people helping me on calls, which absolutely is gorgeous and helps every time.
Indeed. Well, you now have control of the entire marsh bog area of the island. What are your intentions for the hamlets?
Obviously, we're just going to try and keep it purple. We think the swamp people should be in charge of it and let everybody know to stay out of our swamp.
Yes, and I've noticed that you've reinstated daily rationing for members of the Syndicate behind us here?
Absolutely. The Marauders were trying to steal our food for too long. We need to keep giving to the poor and needy everywhere.
The early fight in Reekwater gave KOTT news crews an opportunity to volunteer for the Invasion Response Squad in Windsward last night. And once more, the diligent efforts of the late-night community were able to hold off the corruption, making for another peaceful afternoon today. After repelling the corruption, KOTT News traveled to Spyglass Ridge to get reactions from the locker rooms. Well, congratulations on your victory here in Custless Keys, once again keeping the forces of PK Warband at bay, this time a 2-hold outside of the fort. Would you care to take us through any pivotal moments you had out there?
Well, John, sometimes in these wars, people lose and people win. I want to thank them for coming out here and giving everybody content. They put up a good fight at the end of the day. This is their second time attacking us. If they push another territory and want some help from us in another territory, we will be willing to give that to them. All around, it was a really good war. I think both sides could learn from it. And I'm glad they are keeping the content alive here on El Dorado.
Indeed. Was there anybody on the battlefield, your side or theirs, that you might have saw that stood out in their performance?
There were a lot of people that were doing better than others in some of my opinions, but I think everybody really did their best out there. I don't want to point out anybody who did good or did bad, just because I think everybody did, as good as they could today.
Well, I couldn't help but notice that you were picked third in the second round. Are you anxiously awaiting next week's opening ceremonies?
Yeah, John, and people always tell me, like, oh, you're a day 2 draft pick, everything like this and like that. And I'm just saying, like, early day 2 is basically day 1. That's all I'm saying. Like, nothing here is too crazy. Like, I'm basically a day 1 draft pick to the Guangzhou Goats. But I think the draft will be fun. I'm looking forward to the first war. I think our first war is tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes.
Moments before your battle here in Cutlass Keys, I saw the forces of Gorilla Town had declared war on Windsward, expanding your empire across the southern peninsula. How do you feel about your chances there 2 nights from now?
John, I'm glad you bring this up because we just got Akina K back from his long slumber of New World. He's trying to rebuild Gorilla Town to make us as strong as ever, and who not a better opponent to shape us than the JDB's Kitchen, considered the top company on El Dorado.
PK Warband leadership made themselves available for comment once more, letting the island know they mean to keep coming. Well, unfortunately, I didn't have a camera on this one, so I wasn't able to see how it went down. Would you care to take us through any of the events as you saw it play out?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, this time we didn't really have the coordination that we had last time, and we didn't even make it into the fort. But as always, we had fun. We're going into this to challenge ourselves, to learn, get better. We're not trying to make it easy on ourselves, but could have done a lot more. We ended up tracking a point, and that was about it.
Well, do you feel that your team as a whole was able to follow instructions, regroup when necessary, and go out there and fight the fights that they were able to get?
For the most part, yeah. We had a couple people we had to slot that were mercs that weren't quite responding to comms. Little complications on the Discord end of things for us. It's all right.
Yeah, well, then that sounds like it's just a matter of you building up your own team and getting them coordinated in the effort, gearing them up, and getting out there.
Absolutely.
Well, then it sounds like you're taking yet again an encounter that didn't result in a victory, but getting something out of it that you can go forward with in the future.
For sure, man. You know, we're just trying to get better.
Yeah, and I think you will be. Are you going to continue to press influence in regions where you will find Gorilla Town waiting at the end of the line?
Who knows, man? These guys, they say they want more. They say let's do it again. So who knows? We might come back for some more.
That's what I like to hear. Bold in your ambitions and ready, willing, and able to keep trying and making it happen. Excellent. Well, sir, I appreciate your
Absolutely.
efforts. Thank you for stopping to talk to me. Is there anything else you might like to say to the citizens of Maternum, of course?
Yeah, of course, man. And that would be PK till I die. Have a good night, John.
Turning to the weather, and everyone who wakes up early will be able to enjoy another day of sunshine and full crafting ability once more. But look out after the sun dips down and the humidity rises, giving the corruption an excuse to strike out across 20% of the island for yet another night. Another 2 submissions for Simulated Fantasy Combat Resolution tonight, brought to you by LARPCO. Remember, if it isn't LARPCO, it is cardboard. First up, the legendary hero worshippers of Outcast attack the syndicate members of JDB's Kitchen for control of the bear-infested deep forests of Brightwood. The forces of Panda Cast live and breathe through the efforts of their invincible figurehead, but will they be able to expand their empire along the northern edge of controlled Eternum tonight? The syndicate members of JDB's Kitchen have been focusing their efforts in preparation of next week's opening ceremonies, so tonight's conflict should serve as a reliable test of their cohesiveness. Meanwhile, the Covenant converts of Farmed Off Fresh assail the syndicate members of R's for RP for control of the nearly uncontrollable Restless Shore. Little is known about this new arrival to the island, but they'll be taking their first steps into the historical archives by attempting to climb up the mud hill. Standing atop that mud hill, the syndicate members of R is for RP, awaiting the anarchy of the archipelago from these ambitious zealots to begin once more. We'll have any late-breaking outcomes and reactions from the citizens tonight at 11. Until then, this has been War Correspondent JChalant, KOTT News.